Two bills coming up in the 2022 primary election that will increase your property taxes in the state of California. And we'll briefly talk about the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act. It's even worse than I thought. I did an initial video on the Inflation Reduction Act. The pundits have been out the last week talking about it. More information has come out. So we'll just top line that. So as the California legislature closes out the 2022 legislative session, which concludes at the end of this month, the California National Association of Realtors is strongly opposing two bills currently before the legislature. This is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Sb1105 and Sb-679. Both bills create housing agencies with the power to impose a range of new property taxes on homeowners. Sb1105 is particularly concerning as it grants an unelected, six-member body broad power to unilaterally raise a very wide range of taxes on homeowners and real property generally. Are we in Venezuela? Are we in China? Are we in Russia? The California National Association of Realtors obviously does not oppose the creation of housing, but local government can already pursue projects to build and promote housing and even raise taxes. So these unelected agencies are duplicative, costly, and harmful to property owners. The taxes that these agencies could impose would make owning a home more expensive in a time of serious economic stress and, rising prices, and would also put homeownership further out of reach of California working families. We all know about the foreclosure bill that California Gavin Newsom, governor, passed. That's interesting. Klaus Schwab, we want to create a nation of renters. I have rental property. I'm looking at both sides of this. Sb1105 will grant massive authority to create new property and other taxes to an unelected board that could tax homeowners and give the tax money to private investors who build rental housing developments. Remember, we want to create a nation of renters. Like I said, I have rental properties. I'm an investor, but I'm looking at both sides of this. Sb1105 grants its agency board the ability to tax property without a vote of the electorate. This is what I have a problem with. That's right. The board could unilaterally impose new tax without voter approval. Think Venezuela. And there is no limit on the amount you could be taxed. I got a problem with that. Here's why you should oppose Sb1105. It allows an unelected board to impose property taxes on you without voter approval. Raising taxes needs to have the support of the community, and should be approved by the voters, not by those who won't be held accountable for their decisions, right? So, an unelected board, ladies and gentlemen. So it will make homeownership less affordable. These costs will impact both those seeking to purchase a home and those, who have already struggled and stretched to afford the home they have already purchased. Property taxes are going to go up. So increasing taxes will undermine working families' ability to stay in their homes in an economically challenging time right now. So you're in that room. Everyone knows it's economically challenging time right now. Is this being done by design? That's the question you got to ask. The cost of funding rental housing projects should be, borne by all residents, not just those who own a home. It is agreed that creating more affordable housing is a public good, of course. If that's the case, the entire community, ladies and gentlemen, should fund such programs rather than taxing already economically stressed homeowners. Yes, not everyone is economically stressed in California, but Sb1105 is opposed by the California National Association of Realtors, and the California National Association of Realtors is sponsoring this campaign to stop the bill. The 2022 primary election, folks, is right around the corner, and the California Association of Realtors is asking realtors, brokers, investors, you're a real estate professional. You need to come together on this, engage candidates, and get out the vote. You know, real estate professionals have a civic duty to exercise the right to vote, to shape the policies. Don't think your vote's not going to make a difference. This is so important that, you know, you want to shape the policies that protect our bottom line, and it's under assault right now. Lawmakers trust your expertise, the ones with a head and heart, and your clients value. This is key. Your clients value the services you provide. So to help achieve these objectives, the Realtor Party of California, they put together a toolbox to help local associations navigate candidate evaluations, town halls, get out the vote efforts. You know, you'll find everything from the tips and tricks, candidate evaluations, timelines, you know, social media, newsletter content. I'll put some information in the description on that. I can't stress this enough that you should read up on this. This is about your business, and they're coming after small business and 1099s. So the Realtor Party of California is the body that unites us, regardless if you're a Democrat, Republican, or your background. You need to champion these policies for the benefit of the businesses, our clients, and California as a whole. One united force, poised to create durable change. So like I said, I'll leave some information in the description, but these two bills, if they pass, property taxes are going up. So I just want to take a moment to say a few words about the so-called Inflation Reduction Act that used to be called Build Back Better. And everyone's been debating it the last week. I can just say so-called Inflation Reduction Act, by the way, because let's just talk about facts. According to the Congressional Budget Office and other economic organizations that study this bill, it will, in fact, have no effect on inflation. No impact on inflation. In fact, the CBO estimates that the bill will only reduce the deficit by $100 billion over the next 10 years, and we're over $30 trillion. You know, and that's even opposed to the still, you know, puffy, you know, just ridiculous claim from Schumer and Manchin that it would actually be more than $300 billion, which is a joke as well. So even ABC host Jonathan Karl told White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre that the Biden administration is using Orwellian language by referring to the Inflation Reduction Act. He says it's BS. Janet Yellen says the IRS will not use $80 billion in the Inflation Reduction Act to target the middle class. Really, Janet? 87,000 IRS agents? That is about 1,700 new agents per state, enough to fill more than an entire football stadium. Really? You know, come on. We don't have that many billionaires to sift through their garbage. Forbes estimates there is roughly 1,000 billionaires in our country. So we roughly have about 1,000 billionaires, and we need 87,000 IRS agents? I don't think so. Remember, in 7 years, by 2030, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. Folks, there was an amendment when this bill was on the floor in the Senate, and this will tell you everything. Whether you're Republican or Democrat, you can't use any of these IRS agents if someone makes under $400K. There was an amendment that was put in there by the Republicans. Every Democrat voted against it. They are going after the middle class. You know, you're being impoverished. Billionaires, folks, hire high-priced lawyers and accountants. They are going after the mom and pops, the small businesses, the independent contractors. Remember this, the unions, and I got nothing against unions. I was part of a union. The unions got 87,000 new members, right? But despite the bill's title, I'm going to say this again, the Congressional Budget Office, the CBO, concluded that it would have no effect on curbing inflation. And according to multiple articles, one in the New York Post, Wall Street Journal, the earmarks of the bill would allow the IRS to hire roughly 87,000 new agents, essentially doubling its size. Citing the Build Back Better Act, to which the Inflation Reduction Act serves as a proxy, the CBO wrote that the estimate of the deficit reduction for the Build Back Better Act was lowered by $11 billion. over the next 2022 to 2031 period. It's not going to do anything for the deficit. It's not going to stop inflation. And, no effect on inflation, folks. And just the shell game and word games in both parties is ridiculous. But still, Biden and the Democrats have insisted that, bolstering up the IRS will only target corporations and the wealthiest Americans. Like I said, the wealthiest Americans, the billionaires, have tons of lawyers and accountants to get around it, and corporations pass the tax off to the consumer. So every time you hear about a 15% corporate tax, price of goods is raised, it gets passed to the consumer. So the corporations aren't going to pay any more tax. This is targeting the smaller guys and gals. And it's terrible. So those are the facts of the bill. I'm not picking a side. I'm just saying I'm against that bill because we want a bill that's going to lower inflation. We need to turn on our energy. We want a bill that's going to help everyone, just not hurt a lot of people and only help the few. Because unfortunately, the middle class and lower class, they don't have the money to hire powerful accountants and attorneys and to protect some of their wealth. So I just don't understand why. I'm all for the IRS. I pay my taxes 100%. I think it's a good organization. But when it starts getting Orwellian and you're targeting people and just all this stuff on the wall, and I'm an investor too, and I have rental properties, and I love that. You could say, Tim, you could be part of those developmental groups that are going to get access to that in California. We're invested heavily outside of California. But I don't like to see the little guy get hurt and gal. And like I said, the middle class is driving the car, the Fortune 500 companies, that 427 Hemi. They got to work together. It's what makes America unique. And the middle class is being howled out. And I don't agree with creating a nation of renters. We want to create homeowners. It's the American dream. It's what separates us. Okay, it's okay for China to come into the United States and buy a bunch of land and property. I can't go to China as an American or Vietnam, and I can't buy property. China won't allow it. We need to have checks and balances on foreign countries coming in here and buying up all our land and property. It's not fair, or open the floodgates for everyone. I want to be able to go and buy in China. I want to go buy some property in Vietnam, whatever. So if you look at this stuff, it's madness. So take a look at those bills. California National Association of Realtors in the description. Inflation Reduction Act. It's one big shell game. Take care.